Hi everyone, this is Wendy. So I'm on to just do a little video. This is mainly for at Lil Crafty Nook. She's a bit confused as to how I gut my books for journals and how I put the spine in. So I grabbed out a little book here. This is one that I picked up at one of the book fests here in Australia, and I have been ripping the pages out to use in other projects, but I haven't gutted this book yet. So that's what I'm going to show you, just my process really of how I do it. So when I go for the books, I normally go for the ones that have got the bit of sewing here as well as the gluing, so that this whole part, the middle section, will easily come off the covers. So all I do is just open the book up and just with my blade I'm just going to just carefully cut down one side, and see how easy that comes off, and it's left the spine intact. And then I'll do it the other side. Now I have kept the cover page on. I don't know if that'll be there by the time it's finished, but sometimes I leave the covers on, sometimes I don't. Okay, so then I just find the next part, or the other side, and just gently go down here. Sometimes you have to make a couple of passes. But the main thing is you don't want to stick your knife into the spine. You can cut it, and I have done that occasionally too, by not being careful and going too fast. But that's easily fixed. You just put something over it to cover it. Okay, so that's it. That is just how I gut my book. So it's just brought all the pages out of the cover. So from there I will just grab my scissors. I'll just grab my scissors and I will just trim up that just so that it's rather tidy. It's just a bit easier to work with and you don't end up with like bulky bits in the spine. So just trim that up. Okay, and we don't need that part anymore. So from there you've got a nice spine. Now this book here, that's actually got a nice thick spine on it already. So with this you could actually just grab your signatures and you could like stitch them into that spine there, but what I would do just to strengthen that spine up a bit, I will just measure in here, and I measure the in between the two sides, so I'll just push that out a bit, and that is about 2 centimetres, I'll go inches, which is 3/4 of an inch, and then I'll just measure from, say, these covers here to the bottom part, So that's 17 centimetres or 6 3/4 inches. So it's 17 by 2, and then I'll just grab some nice heavy duty cardboard. You can use recycled cardboard as well, and I'm just using some of this. This is actually the Graphic 45 chipboard sheets, but you could like recycle some cardboard as well. So I'm just going to cut it at 2 centimetres or 3/4 of an inch. I'll cut a strip off there, make sure that's straight. And it is 17 centimetres or 6 3/4 long. And that should fit in there rather nicely. See how that fits in like that? So that is actually going to put just a little bit more strength on the spine. But also I use this strip and I normally sew my signatures on. So let's just pretend I've got a signature. I'll just grab a couple of these. Right, and fold them in half. Oh, what's that? No, I don't have that picture. It was this book is about golf. So, and I actually got it just for the size because it's a nice little size. Right, so you've got your signature, and it could have been a bit longer, right? But I normally sew my signature onto that piece of cardboard, and then I will put glue on there and stick it into there. But before I do that, I normally cover this piece of cardboard mainly with some fabric or something. So let me see if I've got a strip here long enough. That will work. Long and wide enough. So I'll just cut this here. And then I will glue this onto here. Now you don't have to use fabric, you can just use cardboard, you could use just any type of material. I was using that sticker text, but I ran out of that, which I really like that because it's like fabric one side and sticky on the other. Come on, glue bottle. I haven't used this glue for a while and it's clogged up the top. Okay, let's try that. So I'll put some glue on here. And mind you, this is just my process. There are other videos on here that you could have a look at, but it's more or less done basically the same. This is like what they call a hidden spine. Just make sure I've got that straight, which it's not straight, so just move that over a bit. Okay, so I've put my fabric on the spine before I've done anything else with it. Okay, and now when I have it like that, I will sew my signatures in first, and then I will glue that all in there and then glue the fabric down on either side. So what I might do, I might actually just go and grab some papers, because I have got a few around here lying next to me. Look, I've got these ones here already done up, so I might actually put those in. Just add a few more. These ones, I've had these from another project, and I've used like offcuts of pattern paper, and I've just sewn them onto like I think this one here was a Bible page, but with the other ones, see, I've got those ones there. Okay, so I'll just use a couple of these, and I will grab some coffee dyed papers to put in it. So I'll just get a signature together. And let's say that one. Two, three, four. Okay, so there's one, and I'll make up another one. So I'll put two signatures into this one. One, two, three, four, five, I'll put that one there. So six. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I'm going to just put two signatures in this one, I normally have about 10 pages. So that's 7, what did I say, 8, 9, and maybe just a plain one again. 9, 10. Okay, so there's 10 in that one. And how many have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, and one more. 9. Okay, so I've got 10 pages in each of my signatures. And you can use any paper. You can use pattern paper, textbook paper, anything you really want. So with these signatures, I'm just going to measure where I need to cut them down. So I'll just use my insert thingo just for the size. So I'll cut that there and there. And then this one, just measure it up, and I'll cut that one there and there. So I've just measured the height, and I'll just grab I would normally just use my blade and knife, but I'm just thinking this might be just a little bit easier for me if I can get it to go all the way through, which I can't, so I will have to use my blade and knife. So I'll put those down there, grab my ruler, not my blade and knife, my ruler, and cut that down. Okay, so that's that. And then do the other side. Okay, so that's the height for my signature. Now, to get the width, I'll just put my book up and press my signature right to my spine, and I normally like mine just a little bit inside the outer covers, so I'll just hold them all together and cut that down there. Now mind you, I am going about 3 times faster than what I would normally work. Okay, so there's my first signature that's going to go in this journal. Now I'll do the same for this one. Grab my ruler and cut it down for the height. I'll just grab my other signature and just line the edges up on this side here, the folded edges, just to mark where I need to cut this one for the width. Okay, so just about there. Okay, so they're my 2 signatures to go in this journal here. So that's going to go there, and that looks pretty good. Okay, right, so I'll just tidy up this first, get this paper all out of the road, and then come back and show you my next step. Okay, So you've got your signatures to go in your junk journal, in your cover. Now with the signatures, I would actually sew them onto this piece of chipboard. So, well, let's just do it, hey? So what I do, okay, that's cut to the exact length. I just get the center, so that's 8.5. So the center is 8.5 centimeters. I'll just mark the center there, and then I'll come in about 2 centimeters from there and 2 centimeters from there. So that's marked. You don't really need the measurements because you might not have the exact same book as me. So, but what I do, I normally just find the center of the strip, and then I'll just come in about 1 inch either side. And on this one, because I'm having 2, then I'll just go over and roughly mark the same distance either way, so that I can put some holes in there, which that looks pretty good if you can see those spots on there. Can you see the spots? No? Let me show you. Okay, so I've marked the center, and then I have come up like 2 centimeters, which is about 1 inch. Okay, so that's where my holes are going to go. So I'll punch those holes in there. Right, it's 2. That's 2. And when I punch my holes on the cardboard, I normally keep my finger to the back, because you don't really want it to break that chipboard. Just put a bit of support on the back to put the holes in. Okay, so I've got my holes in. Then I'll just grab a clip. Make sure that I've got those all up the right way, my pages. Yep. And open it up so I can see the center, and I'll just clip that there so they don't move. And I normally only clip it one side. Okay, make sure that it's all straight, not buckled up, and then I'll just mark off on the inside of my signatures. Make sure that's even, where I want to put the holes here. So I've got that one there, and they all up the right way. Yep. There's the center of this one. There's the center, but I will just grab one of those coffee dyed papers and put in the center just to hold it better. Okay, so I've got that, and then I will just hold that down. Put one over here. It's not big enough, so I'll just grab my big clip. Right, and that can hold there. And then just do the same, mark these off here so I know where to put my holes. So one there, and one there. And then poke my holes in my signatures. There's one. There's two. And there's three. And for this one, one, two, three. Okay, so once I've got that done, now I'm going to sew them onto here. Make sure they're right. 1, 2, 3. That looks pretty good. Right, I need some, and what I use to sew, I just use crochet thread. So I'll just get some of that and a needle. Thread my needle. Okay, and then to sew this in, I just put the spine up there. Now I want the ties to be on the outside, so it's going to be a hidden, you won't be able to see it. So I come in through the bottom one, and then through the outside, and poke that to the inside, which sometimes gives me a hard time, and it always seems to give me a harder time while I'm doing my video. Okay, so I've got that in there, and just leave a bit of a tail on the end, and then I'll go up to this one here and out through there, and I'll go up to this one. So that goes up to the top, and press that through, and then back in through there. If I can find a hole. See, this is giving me a hard time because I'm rushing. Okay, and through there. Just lining these holes up there, so the needle can go through. There, got that. Now I'll just have to fix up that spine a bit here. I'll hold that and pull all these tight. Okay, so that's sewn onto there, and then I'm just going to go back through this one here, the centre one, and bring it out to the back. Come on. Please don't do this to me. Just let me get it through. Right, so that's through, and then I'll go back through that hole. Which now I can't even find the hole. Right. There, and out through that side there. Okay, and just pull it rather nice and tight. I'll slip that up under there. So I've got one of those strands on either side of the long one. And just tie a knot. And just make sure that's nice and tight on there. And just tie another knot. Okay, so I'll cut those. Right, so that is the first signature sewn on, and that is, I've put that at the back. Right, now I'll sew this one on. Just line that up and make sure I've got the holes right and the signatures are even. Yep, pretty good. And I think I have enough on here to use this one. We shall see. If I haven't, I'll have to pull it apart. Okay, so to put this one on, I just go through the hole there, the spine at the back, and leave a tail, and then thread that through the centre one there. And put that down to there, then go through the top one to there. I'm just thinking there might just be enough crochet wool on this to get me through. I'm hoping there will. Okay, and I'll go down to the bottom one there, and then through these holes here, which went right through. Thank you very much. I like it when things turn out right. And pull that, and then go through the centre, back through the centre here, out. Oh, come on, let me just go through the centre, then back through that centre hole, and don't stick the pin in your finger. Right, and bring that back there, and then we'll just pull that to make it a bit tighter, and I'll put that one under there. Okay, make sure it's nice and firm, and tie a knot, or tie a couple of knots in it. Okay, so that's my signatures sewn in, and you'll note, oh, take those off. So that's my signatures sewn into my spine. So you've got a nice look in between your signatures. Where's the end of that one there? All you can see is just a little bit of the calico there. Okay, Now all I do, I go and normally I'd put double-sided tape on, or glue and double-sided tape, but I'm just going to use my glue for this one. And I do give that a fair amount of glue when it comes out. Should be right. Now let's try again. So I'll just hold those little flappy bits down of material, of calico, and just put a nice generous amount of glue on here. Okay, so that is, like, I really whacked the glue on here, and then I will hold that fabric out and grab this, open up my book covers and pop in my signature in between there, making sure I've just lined up the top and the bottom properly. So that looks, well, it feels good. Like, you can't really see much, but it does feel like it's in there nice and flush. Okay, so I'll just open those pages up again and get my fingers right in the center there and give it a bit of a press around. And I have used quite a bit of glue on that. You can see a bit of it coming up either side. And I don't have a white, but I'll just use a bit of this, spare bit of this calico, and just wipe that excess glue off. Okay, and then I would hold my book up like that and press that down there, and I'd actually let that sit like that for a good couple of hours, just to let that glue dry in the spine there. But because I'm doing this and I'm not going to wait around, I'll just show you my next step. Holding that up like that, I'm going to put some glue on the fabric strip, or my calico, just here. And I also put a good amount of glue just down in that gap between the spine and the covers, and I'll hold that up and press this down. So that's nice there, and just give that, because I do have like a small little gap, so I will press my fabric down onto there, press it down just into the side there. Okay, so that's that side done. And make sure I've got that in there properly. So when you lift that up, you're not going to, I need a bit of glue just under there, because that it's coming up and I don't like it when it comes up. Okay, so we'll press that there. Alright, give that a good press. Alright, let me see now. Okay, that's all flush now, so I can lift that up like that, and I'll just swing the book around and do the exact same thing to the other side. So I'll just hold that fabric up and put some glue all over that. And then put some more glue just down in that little gap that I've got there, and then press that down there. So I might just do that again over here. Wipe off the excess glue. Okay, how's that? That's pretty good. So it's going to come up over there. Yeah. See, I've got that's coming up just there on the corner, so I'm just going to put a little smidge of glue under that, just so that that will hold down. And I've just opened that up again in the centre, and just press that down just there. So then I just, well, see, I left the covers on this side. I'm getting glue all over that one. I'll just check that one and this one. Little bit of glue. That's okay. Alright, so this will actually be the front there. Right, so then I will just let that, I'll just grab my thingo, my clamp. So then I'll just grab my clamp and put that over there, and I will just leave that sitting up somewhere just to completely dry. Okay, so that's how I do that. So you've seen how I gut the book and put sewn signatures in. Now she was also asking if what happens if you didn't have sewn signature. So okay, here we go. So this is like my prototype. I might just put that back on there because that will be a book. I can cover it later. Normally before I put the spine in too, I will cover the outside of the book as well, but I might do something different with this one. Okay, so there's that one. Now this one here is like it's like a prototype, or just a mock-up of me doing the No So Easy hinge journal that I made, the Christmas one, just a couple of days ago, or I'm still making it, still decorating it. And it has already got like this spine here. So what you could do, you could open, say, get the centre of it, and you could still use just one of these hinges to sew it onto that strip. Let me just get a pretend strip. Here we go, there's a piece. Right, so just say that that was the chipboard spine strip. So you could still use that and like sew it onto that strip there. Or I've got another book here. Now this is another one that I've already gutted. Another cover, I mean. And I've already cut the inside strip for it. Okay, so that will need to be just tidied up and trimmed there. But if you wanted to, you could also, like where you see the bulk of your spine here for the books, you could actually glue that straight onto your spine as well. And you could put it, like just have it glued straight on. I don't know if that would last as long as what sewing them in does, but you could still do that as well. Or you could just make a, like you could make a cardboard, you could make a cardboard spine just like you were doing the hinges, but make it so that the spine is the same width as what all your papers are, and then you could glue your spine onto your signature and then actually put glue here, which is flat, a lot flatter, and then glue that onto your spine as well. I hope you understand that. You could do it that way, and then like with this one here I'd have about 3 signatures, so I would make like 3 of these and like glue them onto there after I've decorated, or you can paint it or whatever. But if your spine of your cover is in good condition, like this one here would have been in good condition, but I did cut with my blade, I've cut like a spot along here and one little pokey spot there, not being as careful as I should. You could even just cover that up with some fabric, like cover that spine up with just fabric or your paper, and you can just sew or glue directly onto through that spine, and you can have the stitching on the outside, which I think I've got one here. Okay, I was trying to find one of my journals where I have put where I've put the spine in, and I've sewn through the spine and through to the outside as well, but actually, like, you know, when you go looking for something you can't find it. But here is just another example of some that I've done. So there's with this one here, and I have glued the spine in, but with this one here I done it so that I could have the ties through the center, but I didn't actually sew that through the spine on this side. So I know I've got a couple of books here done like that. Now this one here, this is just another example where I have glued that chipboard spine in there, and I've sewn the signatures on. If you want something to last, I would actually suggest that you sew your signatures in. So that's the middle of this signature here, and I've sewn it just to the piece of chipboard. But if you sew right through, you will see like marks, you will see your stitching on the outside. So I was thinking maybe this one was, no, this was a soft cover. I didn't actually use a chipboard spine piece in that. No, that was a soft cover. But you understand by like seeing your stitches on the outside of your spine, and like with what I just done and having a hidden spine, Okay, so sorry about that. I did think I have got one here somewhere, but I think it's packed away in my keepsake box. Okay, but that was just a couple of other examples of how I've done the signatures. So if I wanted to, I could have sewn right through this spine here with the signatures, because that was a pretty solid spine, but I just chose to put that one in there. So this is drying really nicely. So that's about it. I hope that, so it is a really simple process, but I do like having this extra bit of fabric over here, because if you glue, if your hidden spine ever does come from the actual spine of the book, you've got this bit here that will actually hold it in until you could repair it. But do you know, I've been doing this process here for a couple of years now, and I haven't had any problem with it. You know, I used to think, oh gosh, you know, you keep opening and closing this and that hidden spine's going to come out from the back there, but you know, it never ever does. Well, it hasn't so far. And you know, some of my journals I've really worked in. I've got one just here. Look at this size of this one here. I'll just clip that one back up because it still needs to dry. But look at this one. This was my latest one. This was my latest one, and I started just working on another one, but it's got that hidden spine in it there, and this is really heavy and bulky now, but you could see here that you know, it's still stuck, and I have opened and closed this book and kind of like chucked it over there and what have you, and the spine on it is still stuck down. So you know, you need a good glue, and I actually like this PVA glue that I've got here, that we can buy here in Australia, which is, it's rather cheap, and I want that other, it's rather cheap, and it's got a really good strong hold on it. So you know, that's that spine there in that book. And you can see that I've got the calico down here, which comes up to just roughly about there on the actual hardcover, and then I've just put a piece of purple cardboard over the front and over the back and over the front, so you can see that there. Okay, so I hope that helped, Pam, Lil Crafty Nook, Lil Craft Nook. And if you've got any other questions, just ask. So I'll let this one dry now. And I did leave the front covers on here, on these ones here, the front inside green. But when I do start to use this, I will actually put another sheet of paper just on this side here, so that you won't even notice that, just for example. So you won't even notice that calico coming out to here, but you will see it just down in there. Okay, so that's it. That's my process for gutting and adding a hidden spine in my junk journals. Okay, thanks everyone for watching, and let me know if that's what you needed to know, Pam. I think it was. Otherwise, I think I'm confusing you. I don't know, she was a little bit confused, and I can get confusing sometimes. I can even confuse myself. and that's not funny. Like, okay, thanks guys. You all have a great day, and I will catch you all later. Okay, bye.